Are we rolling? How should I start this? When I created WolfCop, it was just to do a really crazy movie. Our team didn't really think about franchises or sequels. It was just like, what's the craziest thing we can do at this moment? What the? After the first film, Cine made it pretty clear that they wanted to not only make a sequel, which excited us, but they wanted to make it immediately.
No, I wasn't surprised because I saw the first movie and on the end credit it said, WolfCop 2, coming soon. So, that was a giveaway.
I always describe WolfCop as dysfunctional Saskatchewan folk art. Why it works is because it's authentic, it's genuine. It was natural. The IP screamed franchise to me, and it's always something that our studio looks for. Like, we're not interested in doing single-purpose pictures. It was, does this have all kinds of extensions and new entry points, such as a graphic novel, a vinyl record, whatever it is, a universe that you could build infinitely off of.
You know, that was honestly a dream come true to have WolfCop come to life for the first one, and it didn't really surprise me, but I was surprised in a way that they would actually really try to build this franchise.
When you call a movie WolfCop, you prepare for the knives to come out, right? But I think a lot of people knew we were a small film just made with a lot of love and heart, so we got very lucky.
I think it's so cool that the fans got on board and sort of really celebrated what WolfCop is and sort of allowed Lowell to keep making this crazy movie.
The fact that people responded to WolfCop made me very excited and very confident that, hey, we can push things a little further.
Since learning that there would be a sequel, Lowell and I really just started to play with ideas and what kind of cool, weird stuff we could do, redo for the sequel.
In your words, what can you describe the plot?
Oh God, plot of this movie.
The plot of WolfCop 2 is, the plot is, it's kind of bizarre.
The plot of this movie is top secret. I can't tell you. No matter what you do to me, I won't tell you.
WolfCop 2 is basically the same script as the first one. For WolfCop 2, we brought back a lot of what people love and admire about the first film, and we expanded on it, gave them more, and really brought more of WolfCop's universe to light.
All this supernatural chaos has kind of come out of the woodwork. It's out of the shadows. Sydney Swallows, our villain in this film, is coming to town. He's going to clean up the town. He's going to open a brewery/arena, and he's going to jumpstart the economy of Woodhaven, which, as we know from the first film, probably means he's evil.
Playing a bad guy is just heaven for me. I'm over the moon. Over the moon.
You know, mayhem ensues and weirdness. People can expect to just be purely entertained, and especially if you're into the strange, the weird, and the gory.
I really want to mess with people. I really want people to be like, what the hell is happening? Hopefully some love it. I'm okay if a few people are like, this went way too far.
More guts, more gore, more effects, more comedy. And also, they can expect some really bizarre and unique new characters.
There are things in life that can't be unseen. Some of them are in this movie.
I think the biggest joy I had in the first film was working with the actors. I really responded to the dynamic between Lou and Tina and Lou and Willie. There's like the devil and the angel on his shoulder, right?
It's interesting, Tina's relationship with Lou in this one, in a way, it can feel kind of mother-son-ish or brother-sister. And now seeing him as a wolf and babysitting him as a wolf and making sure that he's not going out as a wolf, it feels like she is sort of this mama bear character to him.
Well, a number of things changed for my character. He's lent a lot of ego by his alter ego. You know, so there's some bleed through from when he's WolfCop to when he's Lou. You'd be bound to gain something confidence-wise, knowing that your other half is a complete rage monster that is almost unstoppable and virtually unkillable. So
the bromance between Lou and Willie was very important to me. Obviously, it's kind of a weird challenge when Willie died, but then the more we thought about it, it's like, well, actually, Willie was a shapeshifter. Willie didn't die, and then I started getting excited about the idea of where are all these people who the shapeshifters took?
It's weird because it's sort of, you know, you were used to seeing him in the first movie, but this is his first time actually being in the new Woodhaven world, which he didn't know anything about. He actually thought it was just teenagers, you know, messing around in his backyard. Little did he know Woodhaven turned into absurd land or bizarro world since he's been gone.
Well, Willie's clearly fallen in love with Tina in the sequel. Perhaps of his own doing. Maybe that's just Jonathan, but that's cool.
Talking with the actors, as we kind of sat down and did rehearsals, Jonathan Cherry's like, I think Willie would actually like Tina. I think he'd have a weird thing for her. And the second he said it, a light bulb went off, because then it was like, oh, we have an actual love triangle then. Lou and Willie are almost, in a weird way, heterosexual friendly lovers. So to bring in that gap in the triangle was like, oh, I got really excited. It was really fun bringing in new faces like Sarah Miller, who played Cat, or Werecat, to see Willie and his dynamic with his sister.
The really cool thing is how the new players kind of merged into this world and how much fun they had. From, you know, the big baddie, which is Yannick Bisson, that people might know from Murdoch.
I've been being cast as a nice guy for just over 30 years. So being able to be a bad guy, I think I've been saving it up. I've basically drawn on every single bad guy that I could possibly remember. I'm giving it all.
He's perfect for this part. He's so terrifically evil as Swallows, and in this really, you know, great, creepy, sexy kind of way.
To get to bring him in, and I like to say pervert his image by dirtying him up with the WolfCop crew, has been really fun.
The rookies, what is their relationship into this world, and how do they learn about this WolfCop and learn that one of their colleagues is actually, you know, this kind of fuzzy version of the law.
Devery Jacobs, who plays Daisy, she brought like such a fun, weird energy to it and gave her this sassy, overconfident attitude. It was also really fun to bring in Warren Bates as one of the rookies. I just love his humor and his face, and I just love torturing him.
I've been here 3 days. Everyone's like tired, and I'm like, really a little too much energy for me.
Hey! Hi, I'm Connor Sweeney. I'm just enjoying an ice cold Fanta here on the set of WolfCop 2.
I was very happy to bring in the Astron 6 guys. They were above and beyond what that scene needed to be. Super funny, super weird.
What are you, some kind of cop, Wolf?
It was a fun set. It reminded me of ours. He let us improvise, and everybody's just feeding off each other really good creative energy and
get covered in blood and scream till our voices were hoarse.
You work with Lowell again?
Yes.
No.
No.
And then to get Lawrence Gowan being this weird organist called Organo.
The weirdest thing I've seen was Gowan, without any pants, playing the organ. I'd say was the weirdest thing, which was his choice, so I think that's rad.
It's funny how I got involved in this film. It was through a song, believe it or not. In WolfCop 1, they used Moonlight Desires as one of the transitional pieces. I was intrigued and let the producers know about it. And they suddenly thought it would be a good idea to include me in the flesh. So I'm happy they did.
One of the biggest surprises for me, and I'm sure for the audience, will be that we have Kevin Smith in the film, which is hilarious and came totally out of left field. Jay Jolly, the executive producer, made that happen. Of all the cameos to do, we really abused the man. Inside of his first scene, one of the first things I said, we had to put goo in his mouth and a lizard was going to burst out of him, and I said, oh, just put this in your mouth and we'll start rolling. And he's like,
this is how I began my career, with those very same words. Okay, Kevin, put it in your mouth.
I was just very humbled to have someone like Kevin Smith on our set, such a charming and gracious guy.
What I like about it is that people genuinely just wanted to participate in this crazy creative idea that was going on. And most of them were really sad when it ended, which was pretty funny. Like, you know, they had a great time.
I think that's some of the most fun I have working on a movie like WolfCop is you can't take it too seriously. And as much as I may toil over the script, almost just using it as that blueprint. And the second you start making the movie, if someone brings a better idea, you just take it.
Marker. Come to Canada, put weird shit in your mouth.
So for the better part of a year, Lowell and I, we would just meet and sketch and doodle and go through the script. I would take those and turn them into either maquettes or sculptures to really exercise those ideas and bring them into existence.
Emerson is, I will say, without shame, my creative soulmate. I think we get each other in a way that is very rare. He was one of the first people who I just sat down with and said, if we do a sequel, what do you want to do? What's something crazy you've been dreaming of doing? I mean, for me, I really wanted to bring in elements of Gremlins, Alien, things like that.
Emerson Ziffel was essentially a one-man team on WolfCop 1, and what he was able to produce on the first one by himself was, you know, phenomenal.
On the first Wolf Cop, the challenge was little money, little time, trying to push through and survive the days.
There was a lot more effects, definitely probably almost 10 times more effects than what was required than in the first one. So we knew that we needed to give Emerson a lot more time and a team actually to really achieve what we set out to do on this one. We got him his own shop, we called it the Shatterdome, where it was basically the monster effects studio where everything was birthed from creating the molds, casting, and basically everything that Emerson does.
The list is huge. We have a wall in the studio that's just a list of like 50 things, but then the subcomponents of all those pieces, and you really, it gets to a point where it's a tornado of information that you just got to plow through. And we learned halfway through building all this stuff that you kind of had to say, everybody, today we're building all of the pieces for Frank, because there was just no way we would see it otherwise. So having a team assembled that could really deliver, albeit right at the last minute, all of this stuff, it was extremely important, and thankfully I was afforded that amazing team.
I don't know why, but this film for me has been a lot about birth, and this kind of morphed into the Bad Willie and then the whole town getting impregnated.
When you're doing a film that involves a lot of crazy, chaotic moments, specifically when all the shapeshifters birth out of people at the hockey game, you can't just show up on set and say, here's a lizard, have fun. Blech, you know, you got to really impart on these people what it means to have something birth out of you, and in an effective way that tells the story of that birth.
You know, you read about mass vomiting on the page, and you kind of think, well, but when you see it, it's quite something. And they had to have camp and tryouts and technical rehearsals.
So what we did was we picked, I think it was 8 people who were willing to get all gooey and all crazy, and what we did was we sort of did a boot camp one day where we tested puke rigs, we tested puppeteering these creatures, we tested dying, we tested what it felt like to become sick, so that you could just pantomime in the background, not necessarily throwing up, to really create the layers that we need in the shot.
I just love working with him because you can have a 2-hour conversation that's completely insane, and he will be the person explaining how you will actually do it in reality. You know, I could be like, oh, it'd be crazy if this happened, and he's like, well, actually, the way I would build it would be this.
Then we also had to do Werecat, which is Kat's Werecat version of her. So we had to take a life cast of Sarah Miller, which we then sculpted 6 breasts onto, which then got transferred onto a fully stitched, seamed faux fur suit, as well as facial appliance that Doug Morrow sculpted. We had to do a lot of different things.
Any weird moments on set? Well, I mean, are you aware of the show we're shooting? I mean, there are the whole thing is kind of about weird moments.
Well, the little Willie, because he looks like me. I mean, you know, it's me as a penis coming out of my stomach with a mustache. You know? Say that's pretty weird.
Bad Willie comprised of making a creature that lives in a belly of a guy. So we had to make a fake belly that he wore that we could bust through, also one that just lived as a fake belly, and then one that was just a stretchy belly. We had to make a puppeteerable version of eyeballs, had to paint those up, glue them up, and make little animatronic pieces for that.
Good. You look good.
When we were shooting the part where Bad Willie bites me on the junk, it was a bit weird standing there looking down at Emerson Ziffel's face and an arm and whatnot while he repeatedly, how did he put it, attempted to gain purchase on my junk. That was a bit odd. Lowell just kept asking for stuff and it just kept on going and going, and he just kept on backing off the little critter, and then wham! Yeah, he punched me in the nuts pretty hard a couple times. It's like some of those yells are pretty authentic.
The movies that I liked growing up, like Ghoulies or even Star Wars, like Yoda, that's kind of how they made those movies, you know? And I'm sitting there on a couch smoking a fake joint, and Emerson's hand is in my pants, and there's this little creature that looks like me, and I'm having a fake conversation with them. It seems so basic and silly, but I bet you if you went on any other set from those times, that's how they did that.
Casey Marcus did a great job too in special effects and with Emerson. There's a lot of departments work really hard. Everyone has to work hard on a movie like this.
3, 2, 1. Well, we got to make an awful lot more blood for Wolf Cop 2. We've gone through a surprising amount of quantity of blood and vomit, chicken milk, other materials that are quite vile and nasty to deal with. And there's an awful lot more pyro in this one. There's more gunshots, there's more squibbings, there's more fire, and there'll be multiple explosions. I really like the opportunity to be able to have the makeup special effects be directly working alongside the practical special effects, because I think in the long run, the closer those two departments can work together, the better the end product is that's delivered.
When you're doing makeup effects, you have to sort of be a jack of all trades. You can't just go, I'm here to paint stuff and that's it. You have to be ready to empty plaster buckets, you have to be ready to get mucky, you have to be ready to get covered in fiberglass, or to just punch hair into a wolf cock for 9 hours. You know, there's so many random things that you have to do when we're building all this stuff, let alone from being on set when you're slinging blood and stuff. So I really admire and thank the crew that I had, as well as the other crew on the film, for putting up with the craziness that is this film, because there's so many wacky, weird, crazy things you have to do. And everybody pulled through and pulled it off.
It is 3 a.m.-ish, and we are at a hockey rink. The only time that we could get the rink to shoot the carnage on the ice was 3 a.m. So for the next 2 days, we're doing night shoots. Everybody's really tired. I'm super chipper. Leo's super chipper.
All right, ready? Frame. Okay, and action, Willie. Go!
Producing a film is very tough. I wish I could say it was just natural, we had piles of money in the bank and this and that.
Oh, it's really hard. It's really, really, really hard to make a movie in 17 days. And we were running and gunning the whole time. We were very ambitious.
In the first one, no one A, knew what Wolf Cop was, or B, expected probably anything of it. The second film, we had a bigger budget, but once again, in 17 days we were trying to not only make a good movie, but make a movie that enriched the characters, had effects, had explosions, had fight scenes, and on top of that, had to be twice as good as the first film.
Lowell had hundreds of storyboards for everything, you know, and we knew we were not going to get them anyway, but they were great. There was this great sort of visual map already drawn, because the schedule was impossible.
We shot sun up to sundown every day and just barely made it because the days were so crazy. That's just how we roll, I guess. If Lowell wasn't so possessed and the actors and everyone didn't work so hard, and there's no rest. I'll be damned.
You know, it was so much fun last time, but this time Lowell and I, we have such a good collaborative relationship, so I think it's like picking up from where we left off on like a whole different level, which was like what a sequel should be.
Well, you know, it's funny, for such a young director, man, things move along. He knows exactly what he wants. He has a great way of communicating to his technicians ahead of time, on the day, and to us too, exactly what he wants from us in terms of nuances, but also, you know, certain ideas he's coming up with in the moment while we're rolling.
It's ultimately such an amazing time. Like, we have a great time making this movie, but it's also challenging and it's hilarious at the same time, and then creatively, I think, with all of the effects and everything else that's at play, it's just kind of like these kids in candy shops getting to do their favorite things ever.
When you have special effects and you have puppetry and you have all those other things going on, you know, 1/8 of a page could take up half a day.
Start settling, pictures up.
Adam comes from a very experienced horror background. The fact that this is a comic book style movie really gave him an opportunity to really play with, you know, the framing, the lighting, and the colors, especially, something I really loved in this one.
The color was actually, which I really liked, the angry red was in fact placed in there. So we decided off the top that we didn't particularly need to motivate it. It would be just there. And some of these scenes, especially in the truck, are almost entirely red and black. For something of this genre, it's kind of nice to kind of bust it a little tiny bit.
Shaking! Really, it's violently pulling you left and right, left and right.
The hockey rink days were a monster. It just involved, you know, guts flying every day.
Gags wound up changing on the fly, and we had to be creative and come up with solutions and met the schedule.
Everything was a lot more hectic. I did find getting put through the process a little more trying this time. Maybe it's just because I'm getting spoiled in my old age.
I'm always so baffled at what I get to do with the weapons and with fighting and everything, so that's very rewarding, because an actor rarely gets to just get out there and do it and sort of have at it in a way that we do here.
The coolest thing was seeing Wolf Cop on skates. I think that's awesome. Like, I saw that last night and I thought that was the coolest. I loved that.
By the end of the shoot, we had the whole rink filled with blood and guts. It was hilarious.
Oh, I love this, man. Everybody thinks I got into it for like the sculpting and the art and stuff, but this, I get a lot of joy out of putting gooey things into buckets, or into holes, or into people's mouths, you know. Sort of the essence of being on set and working on Wolf Cop 2 was being covered in goo and slime perpetually. There was no like, I'll be right back, guys, I'm going to go change into some clean pants. It was deal with how sticky it is, deal with how uncomfortable it is, and just let it become part of who you are on set.
If you want to talk weird and memorable moments, you could go to every single day on WolfCop, and there was definitely a weird moment on set. It would be weird, actually, if there wasn't a weird moment on set with WolfCop.
Right now, we are about to shoot our sex scene.
Let's fluff up the bed, please. Let's redress the bed and make it pretty.
The first one was very romantic, so this one we're going for more of a, I guess I'd say, bizarre rock and roll bestiality sex scene.
We're about to get in there and do some naughty things. Leo's fun. Leo's just kind of like a big child, so it's fun to do. You can just kind of play, right? It just everything's a game and playful, and cats are playful, so it works.
Okay, Leo, now you're on top.
The only way that we survived the 17 days was the phenomenal crew we had.
It's so exciting to me to see what they've come up with. That goes for the art department and all of the designers. It all surprises me.
Seeing such a big, diverse group of passionate individuals literally come from all over Canada. The crazy ideas like Emerson walking by with this big lizard, and you're going, the hell are we working on here?
You son of a bitch!
There's no downtime. There's always something happening. Weird, action-packed, fun, all the way through.
You really have to have a specific attitude to do the kind of work that we did on this film, because at the end of the day, you're killing yourself to make the most weird, bizarre, crazy, ridiculous thing. Okay, today we get to make a wolfcock. It's weird and makes most people blush, but we get to make this thing that's going to be on film forever that people are going to laugh at and talk about. It was a challenge, but it was a fun challenge.
It is like a circus. It's crazy. Now realizing I have to fly back and go sit at my desk in an office. I think like anything, it's always bittersweet when you get to this point where the production ends and it goes back to being in little rooms with screens.
Lowell has so many ideas. I think WolfCop has a lot of longevity. I hope for a long life for WolfCop.
I just feel like the luckiest guy in the world when I get to go to work for 17 days, surrounded by friends, making a movie as crazy as WolfCop. I mean, no one has a better job than me.
Yeah, I'm the wolf cop. Yeah.
Wolf cop tying a tie with claws on. What a dapper man.
It's a little short, but I don't think we have much choice in that.
That's what she said.